What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Keith. This is ProNoobRC, and we're gonna jump into some mini-Z racing. It's all kind of new to us. We're off-road guys, airplane guys, not drone people so much, but definitely off-road, and yeah, let's just say scale off-road. That's what we like. But anyway, with all this COVID-19 going on, we can't really get out and do too much, so we get a lot of space in the house. We're going to build a small foam track and start running these cars. Something to do, kill some time. There's a ton of upgrades for them already. We're just going to show you what these cars look like out of the box stock. This one is the Mercedes-AMG GT3 presentation car. Very nice body, very nice packaging. You can see the window through the side, through the top, through the front, through the back. This is a MR03 rear-wheel drive chassis. It is an all-plastic chassis, pretty basic, but you can go fully upgraded, all aluminum, carbon fiber, all that fancy stuff for it. Get rid of the AA pack, switch over to life packs. Yeah, so basically this car, all you need out of the box with this one is 8 AAA batteries. They give you none in the packaging. I'm sure this car, I'm not sure the date on it, but I know they're not fairly new. Like, I think this car is like 2015 or something like that. Like, they're not the newest. Don't hold me to that, but I know the MR03 chassis, which this is, has not changed since its release in 2013. So the car comes out on a nice display like that. Instruction manual, very good instruction manual actually, fairly understandable. And then you get this little insert box here. Get some cones and a wheel wrench tool so you can set up a little track, change the tires. You get an extra parts bag in here. The extra parts bag in here, you get a MR03 top plate narrow, MR03 bottom plate narrow, and you get motor holders. I believe these are Ackerman arms for the steering. I'm not 100% sure. You do get a couple extra pinion gears and motor holders for the different gear ratios if you choose a pinion. Okay, so out of the box you get a 2.4 gigahertz radio. As I said earlier, you were going to need 8 AAA batteries. For the radio, I recommend just whatever, throwaways, they last a while. But for the car, you're going to want to pick up a set of AAA rechargeables. They're cheap. They're worth it. Avoid the Duracell brand ones. They're like 20 bucks, 25 bucks for a set of 4 of their rechargeables. You can pick up a little mini-Z USB charger like that. This guy cost me $35 Canadian, so that's like 20 bucks US. And then you can get these Team Orion 900 milliamp HV batteries. The high voltage is 1.25 volts instead of the 1.2 volts, so a little bit higher voltage, a little bit more power. Because they're a better quality, they'll take more cycles, yada yada yada. These cost me $15 Canadian, so like $8 US or whatever it's going to be for you guys. So, now out of the box, the tires on the car are decent, but you're going to want to get some tires when you do order the car to get a softer tire to upgrade them. They're kind of more just a, I'm going to dare say shelf tire. Probably get flamed for that, but I'm going to say shelf tire out of the box. So if you do, when you do order tires, make sure you order tape to mount the front tires onto the car. The rear tires are your wides and your front tires are your narrows. So we got batteries in the remote. I'm going to get the car out of here and show you how that starts off. There's tape. Don't rip the car out. It is strapped in from underneath. You will break it. Take your time. I know it's exciting, but cut the tape off. Expose the innards till you find twist ties down there. Hold the body in your hand, don't put it down on the table, you will damage them. They're very nice. You can untwist those or just chop them off like I do. Old pair of body scissors. We'll get rid of that guy. There is a zip tie right there. He runs all the way around. Careful pulling him out. Sometimes it is good to take the body off after. Oh, that's in there really well. There we go. Shake those other two pieces of wire out of there. There's the car. So these cars have amazing level of detail on. As you can tell, this car is a nice matte gunmetal with also a matte yellow, kind of a deeper yellow on it. It doesn't look too cheesy, that color. Big AMG logo on the wing. Big vent in the hood. Beautiful looking car. Very light, very nice. You know, in the racing, these little canards are going to get broken off. The front of the bumper is going to get busted up. They do take damage. That is going to be, you know, given. The wing's going to get ripped off. Like, that's just part of it. The mirrors are rubber, which are nice on these cars, so those will hold up a little bit, but they still will go missing at some point. So don't get too attached to the bodies. One thing about this car is the MR03 LMS series. It is not the Readyset, or it is the Readyset, but it's a more expensive version that comes with the ball bearings. Yeah, I advise getting the ones that have the ball bearings in them versus the ones that don't. It's virtually the same car, besides you got to tear it apart and put ball bearings in it everywhere, and it's an extra. At the end of the day, it's the same price just to buy the car with the bearings in it. I think it's actually a little bit cheaper. So pop the lid off on these guys. Grab the body right here by these little white tabs. You bend them out, back end drops out, and then you just pull it backwards with your fingers out of the front white retainer clip. Just give it a pull back. Oh, he's in there good. There you go. So there's your chassis. It's basically a pan car. If anybody knows pan car racing, they're the old, pretty much the first major real popular style of on-road racing. I did pan car racing probably 15 years ago, and then I did a bit of touring car racing about 5 years ago, and just kind of packed it all in. I've had a couple of mini-Z drift cars. This would be the first time that I'm actually going to be using mini-Zs in a high grip situation. So right here you got your little gear diff, works just like it should. The tires just put on a little bit off on the rim, you just push that on. So yeah, nothing wrong with that. Pop these covers off here, batteries go in. So the pack of batteries I just showed you obviously aren't charged, we just got them from the store, so I just want to show you guys how to set this up. So we will use the cheapos, Walmart brand. If you look down inside, there is an illustration on which way the batteries go into the chassis. Now when you're doing this, you don't want to hold it by the rear shock or the front suspension. You want to hold the car in between the chassis like I am, so you're not hurting anything, twisting it, damaging it. They're so tiny, they break easy. Okay, so that goes back on. Clips go back on the sides that are marked really easy. We're not going to show you that right now. We just want to get to the first startup with the car. So you want to turn your radio on first. Then you're going to want to turn the car on. Car's on. Make sure your steering rate is where you want it. Now the drive rate on any RC, I always back the drive rate down to make sure the servo is not going to go right past its extensions and burn itself out. You don't need full crazy steering on an on-road car because it just gets out of hand. So, okay, so you notice the radio is blinking green. When you first start the car, it comes already preset in training mode. Training mode gives you 50% of the throttle forward. So that's great if you're new to it and you're just learning the track and you got a really nice body and you don't want to bust things up and you just want to get around the track. That's great. When you're ready to go fast, you gotta turn the car off, turn the radio off. Hold full throttle on radio. Turn radio on. And then turn car on. Radio will do its thing. It blinked, and it blinked a bunch of times. Car blinked a few times. Now the light is on solid. So now it will let you go full throttle. Now if you want to go back, same thing. Shut it off. Actually, let's see if we can do it without shutting the car off here. There you go. So actually you don't have to shut the car off. I was wrong. So you can just sit there, half throttle. So it's full throttle, brake, double tap, brake for reverse. So let's go back to, so full throttle, radio off, radio back on. Hold, let off, it blinks, car blinks. Full throttle. So that's basically the only two things you need to know without reading the manual for the entire setup on the car. There is a channel 4 knob. The channel 4 knob is for when you hook up a headlight to the car. It, for some reason, controls how much the headlights flash. I don't know what that's for. So yeah. We're not gonna mod this car. We're gonna take this car up to the track we're gonna build. The track we're building is this EVA foam tile board stuff. It's got this grippy texture on one side, and the other side of it is completely smooth. So we're gunning to race on this side of it, obviously. And we're doing it in 2x2 squares. So at the end of the day, tonight, when she's had enough of us playing in her space, I can pack it up and take it back to the basement. Okay, so we're gonna go get those other high voltage batteries, these Orions right here. We're gonna get these up on charge for the car. These batteries in the bottom, like I said, you don't really want to, you can run the car on them, but you'll notice a major difference when you switch over to an HV battery or just a good quality battery. These are, you know, run-of-the-mill, just cheapos. So it's not gonna hurt, it's not gonna damage the car, but it's you know, there's a better way to get it done, right? So, and really, they're not that expensive. You can switch over to life packs on these cars, LIFE. That's lithium phosphate, I believe the chemistry is on those batteries. If you switch over to life packs, you also get a little bit more punch. One of our KYOSHO miniz has life packs in it. There'll be mod video coming up on that guy soon. Miniz 4x4, sorry. There'll be a mod video coming up on that guy shortly. Stay tuned. Later in the video, we're gonna get a little bit of track building, little knickknackeries, and a couple of these guys running on there. We have the Audi R8 that we actually did a full build on that will come up in another video. It's all NEX Racing, NEXX. And this car will actually be going full NEXX Racing next week. We just wanted to show you how these come out of the box, stock, the junk and parts you get with them, the manual that makes sense, and of course how pretty it is. Okay, so that pretty much goes over the car. It's a new day. I had some time to do a little bit of homework last night. This body, I believe, is actually fairly new from KYOSHO. I said earlier in the video that I wasn't sure on the date, and don't hold me to it, so that is my way of backpedaling out of this right now. So actually, I think it's fairly new. KYOSHO just recently had a video on KYOSHO America's site of this body style listed back in August. So I don't know if they're just rehyping it or they're pushing it out, but I don't know. There's no way to tell. Okay, so that pretty much brings us to the end of the box stock MR03 overview and unboxing of the car. We did talk about the batteries we're going to be using, the Team Orion 900 high voltage batteries in the car. One thing I forgot to talk about, I just wanted to toss in the backside of the middle of the front of this video, is marking your cells for charging and discharging purposes. You can see that I marked the cells here with a 1, a 1, a 1, and a 1 with a red marker. Use permanent so it doesn't come off. And now you want to take your cells, mark these as 1. Take your other cells, mark them as 2. Other ones 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, star, square, pink tagger, whatever you want on them. Some way to mark all 4 of them the same. So when you do charge them and when you discharge them in the car, they are at the same rate with each other. If you're taking 2 batteries from here, 2 batteries from lot 1 and 2 batteries from lot 3, and you're charging them, and lot 1 was a little bit, fully drained out, and lot 3 was only 3/4 drained out. When you charge them, like these chargers ain't, like they're junk. We've got the Duracell one, it was there. And then we also picked up the miniz KYOSHO one, which is a better charger, but at the end of the day, these are not really controllable chargers. You have no function over them. You can't check what the cell's at, nothing like that. And they don't say anything about cell matching charger on it, just speed house charger, right? So that's one thing you want to make sure is you do your due diligence to make sure you keep your cells matched. It's going to help you on the big end, and it's going to keep your car running more consistent through the pack from the beginning to the end. If you do have mixed match cells in there, you could run into a problem where you're halfway through the batteries and you start losing power. You don't want to do that. You want to get towards the end of the battery and they all cut off at the same time. You don't need 2 cells going limp on you because 2 are crap and 2 are good. So long story short, keep your battery cells matched for charging and discharging and have fun. Okay, you don't have to have fun, but that's it. Perfect for it. This is the way. So that's bone stock tire. Yeah, it's on a grip. Oh, and the pressure damper actually the same varnish in the foot, right? Okay, so that brings us to the end-ish part of the video. You got to see some lap times of Jesse and I learning how to drive on the track we built. Jesse will post a link to the little video he's going to make of us putting that track together. Details on the price and stuff will be over there. Check that out. Anyway, yeah, so these are the MR03s. This is MR02. Jesse's had this car for a while. This is his first time putting it on a track, and his radio is broken. So just that wasn't working too well. Beautiful little car. It's gonna be a lot of fun once we get proper radio working for it and stuff. Yeah, so that was fun. The most recent acquisition to the lineup would be the AMG. We had this one actually first, and went pretty good on the track. Really doggy in the front. This car's got a lot of its weight in the back, and you know, surprisingly, that makes a difference on a full-size car. That makes a difference on a toy car. We found this car really hard to get through the corners, really pushing the front end. We did change the rear tires because you couldn't hit the brakes without it doing a tail whip around the other direction. So we put some, I ordered 20s, but they sent me 10s. Really soft tires for the back and the radials. We didn't get any fronts yet, so we're running the front stock, and they were super pushy on this car. Every time you go to turn, it would just want to push into the corner and hit the wall. You had to, you know, get off early, turn really early to push through and make sure you're off the throttle. This car is a stock chassis still underneath. We have done nothing to this car now besides a set of tires on the rear. So, one stock. By the way, these Orion batteries are fantastic. Get yourself some of those.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with those.
Yeah, they ran for a long time. And good. And this is our Audi R8 LMS. Now this car is fully modified. You can see how it sits a lot lower to the ground, front to back. We did the V-line front suspension from Nex Racing, NEXX. And then we're also running their rear motor pod for a brushed motor. You can see the unit here. Really nice aluminum and carbon fiber unit. We're running their friction damper plate on top with just a stock shock for right now. I did pick up a shock for it from a guy locally, but that's might be able to make something work if we mount it up in the front and then run it back to here or something like that, but it's a little bit kind of aggressive. We might just lose the shock altogether. One of my buddies sent me a text last night at 2 o'clock in the morning saying, we figured it out, don't run the shock, just run the friction plate. But anyway, this car has fully adjustable, tunable front V-line suspension from Nex Racing. It's got their upper chassis plate and servo cover. You cut off the front mounts and then you bolt this front suspension mount onto it. Nice little cover plate for the servo on the bottom. Really beautiful. Now the difference is this car with the stock steering, you can also adjust your cast steering angle and your camber angle of the tires. This car with, sorry, not the stock steering, but the stock tires on it, was crazy fast around the track, almost hard to drive because it had so much steering control. It was just all over the place. So yeah, that's another video. We just built this one, so we got the hang of building one before we start doing this car. We have a nice chassis on order for this one. It's all going to be black and red front to back, and go sit underneath this guy and look amazing. We did buy a ball diff for this car, and the ball diff ended up having a different pitch gearing than on here, or than the KYOSHO on the motor, and I didn't have a pinion gear that would work with it, so I ended up just putting the KYOSHO ball diff back in, but I did take the Nex Racing axle, whatever you want to call it, axle hub, whatever, and put it on that side, so it's no longer just a plastic pinch type, so it's a little bit better. This car runs crazy smooth, crazy quiet on the track, and yeah, we're very, very happy with it. So Nex Racing, NEXX Racing, check them out on Facebook. We got a couple guys local here in Winnipeg. We'll put their contact info in the next video with the build on that after we confirm that with them. So stay stay tuned. Lots of Mini Z action coming up. We got a few builds coming up. Can't just stop at 3 cars. There's some more missing here, so we're gonna work on that. A couple guys have built tracks local, so we'll get some videos out filming at their places and running on their tracks with the COVID shield on. Cool, thanks for tuning in, you guys. Come back next week, we'll have another video up for you, and who knows, it's a mystery.